There we go. I turned off the wrong thing. I'll turn off my speakers now. There we go. You guys can hear me now, right? Let's see. Can you guys hear me okay? It's showing the mic's working, but I want to make sure. Let's see. Trying to decide the exact design of what the last piece, because it's relatively easy. It'll be good for super suits as well for everybody. I'm just trying to pick the design lines right now, because we'll make it from reference. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Wendy Chan. Normally we wait until about 10 minutes, as you can see there, and then I'll kind of go on with the spiel. So normally, or recently, we've been having Eric. He will probably be a little bit later during the stream today, as we have some meetings and things. Let's see. I guess I'll just pick a generic wetsuit design. Oop. So we're making a wetsuit today and a swimwear top, just for the end of summer. the last couple of days. I figured that would be fun. Let's see. All right, it is 12:10. So, oh yeah, I can turn it up just a little bit. I don't want it to be too loud because I tend to get loud while I'm talking. Let's see. I'm trying to keep it in the green zone. There it goes. Is that better? I know I get excited while I'm talking, so I can get a little loud. It's still at the 20 decibels? Negative 20, so can you hear me okay? All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. I am Megan. I work for Marvelous Designer as the 3D designer and community manager. All right, cool. Hopefully a little bit later we will have Eric, but sometimes, or most of the time in the chat, we have Eric helping me out moderate. If he is not here, I will be more severe with moderation. So just be aware of that, chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Just make sure to be polite, or else I will be more severe with the band hammer than normal. So let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who are here all the time, I'm going to go ahead and do all the links again. So first of all, we have a few different communities. We have our forum, and we also have our Discord channel. So I'm linking in the chat our Marvelous Designer Discord invite link. There our community is pretty active. And if you have any questions in Marvelous Designer, or if you're encountering technical issues with Marvelous Designer that is just like, what is this button doing? I don't know what I've done. Feel free to join our Discord there, and you can post photos, you can get help from other users, and you can share your work there. As well as for those of you in the future that I keep getting these questions in our comment section on YouTube, the software I will be using is Marvelous Designer, which is the title of our channel. So here's a link to our website. marvelousdesigner.com, where you can get a free 30-day trial of our software. You can also check out the subscription pricing of our software. And again, the software I will be using is Marvelous Designer. So that's for the future there. That's also where our forum is, and you can also post there. If you don't have a Discord, or if you're not used to Discord, or you prefer not to use Discord, you can also post the same things that I just said about the Discord channel. You can post that in the forum as well, our community forum. And for those of you who are on Twitch, hi Rosemary. Oh, you're on Twitch today. For the Discord, actually, Rosemary is one of our super users, power users. I can't remember the title we've given. She's super helpful in the chat. Be nice to her, otherwise I will be mean to you. She's great, and she's a great resource for the past couple of years for the Marvelous Designer community as a whole. So, oh, okay, cool. YouTube's been having some issues lately, I've noticed. But for those of you who are on the Twitch channel, we do let the 14 days expire. But here on the YouTube channel, we do keep the lives in perpetuity. So if you do want to come back for this as a resource, it's here. I don't know why. Oh, Twitch just decided to do something weird. I'm going to pull up our Twitch channel our Twitch chat real fast. Restream just stopped posting to Twitch. And that's mildly annoying. I'm just going to pop out the Twitch chat. Because now it's not sending it to Twitch. Cool. Awesome. Fun times. There's our YouTube channel. Sorry, YouTube. You're going to get double. Gonna move this so I can see both chats now. Just in case. Yeah, so that's our YouTube channel there. And then for those of you who are new to Marvelous Designer, who are struggling with pattern making, and kind of don't really know how to use the software so much, and you do want to just get started a lot of the times, we still do recommend following our tutorials for best practices and how to get started. It will make your life a little bit easier figuring out, just following like the first couple of tutorials will get you started on how to make patterns and work in Marvelous Designer. I'm going to say, okay, cool, the Twitch chat is also working. So that's a link to our tutorials for the beginner tutorials, how to get started in Marvelous Designer. We do have a new YouTube video up for how to troubleshoot if your custom avatar is imported at the incorrect scale, which I know a lot of our new users encounter. And then for those of you who are actually encountering like a bug, are having trouble logging in, here is the link to the support contact. You can contact the support email, but it'll be actually a little bit faster if you contact us through the website, through the support link, because that way we skip a few steps for getting verification of your account information and things like that. Alrighty. Oh yeah. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, oh yeah, last time we made a giant stuffed animal and we named him Tyrone Alfredo Francis III. He will at one point become available for everybody. I did make him 2 stories tall, so I do need to make him a little bit smaller for those of you who eventually will want to download him for a little T-Rex. I'm like, all right, so that's done. We've done all of those, so let's go ahead and get started. I did say on the stream, summer. It's the last week of summer, really. So today we will be making a wetsuit, potentially 2 different ways, but I'm just going to do it the leotard way and then do design lines. And then I'll be making a swimsuit top. We will then have part of it removed, so it's just the top and the wetsuit for pants. And then I have already made a beach ball to go into the scene. So let's go ahead and get started with Marvelous Designer. I am using Marvelous Designer 10 for this stream. So let's go ahead. I'm going to bring in my avatar, V2, and do all these things. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to leave her without any textures today, just to make it easier, because I will make a swimsuit top. So I'm going to just grab a generic bodysuit pattern, which I have here. That is very small scale. I've imported it as background image, but that is too small. So let's see what it looks like at 200 scale, 500 scale. This is at an angle, so I'm just checking. Might have to do 550. I might, let's see, we'll do 500. Nope, 500. Pressing all my hotkeys. No, it definitely needs to be higher. Alright, we'll stick with 600. So this one I'm just going to trace pretty quick. There's another way to do this, which is going to be drawing on the avatar, but this will be a little bit faster just because we're only doing a 2-hour stream this time. And I want to actually finish the entire garment. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the polygon tool, so it's the H hotkey, and I'm just going to trace this inside of the seam allowance. I can tell this pattern has seam allowance here for the center front. Zip. And we'll see how fast I can go because I'd like to show you 2 different options for making a wetsuit that also includes using the draw on avatar tool. But as you know, I do love me my patterns. So right now I'm just tracing the center front. And if I make mistakes, I'm using the backspace. So that is the center front. That looks like a... Oh, that's for the neckline. That's fine. This one's going to be a little interesting. I've not used this pattern before because I wanted to just try something new, because this is for the top. And this is accounting for the dart on the bust. So I have a few ways to work around this, but I did want to just give it a chance. I guess I'll make that a segment point. Now you can see here one thing, if I don't fix this, this is going to be a problem. You can see that this neck is curving upward. I don't want that, so I'm going to true up that line and make it square. And then going back to my pattern tool here. I am just tracing this. Because one way to get a wetsuit is to use a leotard pattern, or you can draw on your avatar to create this. Oh yes, sorry, curve points are laid with the control key. I am holding control here. If there is a bot in my Discord, or my server here on my stream, I'm probably going to kick you, so you might want to let me know you are or are not a bot right now. Look at this. This is such a... this sleeve pattern. Oh my goodness. I'm probably going to use our own sleeve pattern, but we're going to find out. Alright. So I'm just trying this bodysuit pattern. Clearly I'm going to need to make some changes. But let's go ahead. I've just toggled off her textures just so the chat knows. I'm turning on the arrangement point so I can place center front. Or actually, this is center back. And then this is going to be center front. Or side front, really. You. Move down. And I'm just going to go ahead and free sew this. This is going to have issues. I'm going to go ahead and fix that right away. All right, cool. That's a bot. You are going to get banned. Because I know what's going on with Twitch recently, so any hoodle. Let's go ahead and I need to unfold this as well. unfold with symmetric editing, because I just need to turn this into a curve point for that sleeve. And then using the A hotkey, I'm right-clicking and removing the link to editing. And then I'm going to create a symmetric pattern with sewing, and I'm going to do the same to the front and back pattern pieces. There we go. Oh. Symmetric pattern with sewing, do the same thing. And then I'm going to sew center backs together. This is always the quick part. This part is so much easier. Let me turn off arrangement points. I need to reset. I need to clean up my workspace here for a second. All right, center back, my front panels, and then we'll turn on the arrangement points again. So this is the easy part, which is just doing the leotard. I know I'm going to probably merge these together, but we're going to see how it looks without them merged first. And starting from, let me see, back to front, I'm using my cursor and the little blue dot here, as also known as the ghost, to check where my sewing is going to be. And now I'll move things around. Oh yeah, there are hidden darts here as well. Oh, and the horizontal seams. Oh yeah, I did mention that earlier. So for those of you who are new, there's hidden darts here if I do this. And I rotate it just a little bit. There's some darts here to accommodate for the bust, but I'm probably going to I'm going to remove them because of the stretch. So I'm going to not account for them and utilize Marvelous Designer's forgiveness and the stretch of a knit fabric, because it'll make it a little bit easier. And let's see, I believe it's going to be like this. I might have to move her legs. We're going to find out in a second. Delete that first. Yeah, this is also like the wrong size. Still. Using the N hotkey or the segment sewing tool to sew the sleeves, you can see it's actually really tight on her. Way too tight, in fact. Okay, fine. I also need to apply the knit preset. There we go. Yeah, this is still too small for her. You can see based on the strain and the fact that it can't even go. Okay. So the gussets can't even go across her, so we're going to have to play with this a little bit. And then same with the back. I generally prefer to have most of the gusset in the back pattern piece, but we're going to find out how I feel about this, because that is a personal preference. Just because I don't like when it creates that. But that's when I make an actual leotard. Oop, come here. Okay, that's great. Thank you. I did not mean to click on my other window. Okay. Too small in the top. So short. All right. This is going to be a full leotard. So yeah. Let's go ahead and apply the fabric. So I'm going to go to fabric. We don't have a spandex, but we do have other knits. So I'm going to go to the list form and probably go with, oh, come here. Either the Ponte jersey. It'll be close because it's generally a thick rubber. So let's go ahead and try that. It's not going to do much because it's really tight on her. And this is 20 particle distance, so definitely need to accommodate more of the gusset. A little bit better. Come on. There we go. I mean, it is forgiving, but come on. The other way to do this that I would like to show if we have enough time today is how to just draw on your avatar for this. Now I can lengthen the sleeve. There we go. Looking a little bit better. I will tighten this. And these still need to be longer. But I'm going to do them both at the same time. And they are most likely twisting on her. Yeah, just a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. So you see the line, how it's twisting to the back instead of staying centered on her leg. And then same with the inseam. It's twisting a little bit. It's because these ones are twisting in the 2D window. So I'm just going to go ahead and straighten them out a little bit. Convert pieces to curve points. Yeah, I don't want that, please. Thank you. What is this? Hold D. Oh, yeah. Holding D, I can just move this. Single piece. That looks okay. Let's see. Twist it back around. Okay, so it's fitting a little bit better. It is supposed to be tight, but I don't want it to be too weird. Come here. This is still 20 particle distance, so that's why I'm having the collision issues. I will fix that in a minute. I'm going to just make the legs smaller. Right click, convert to curve point to make my life a little bit easier. I'm adding another curve point to straighten this out. It did that just because you saw the little glitch here. It's because these shoes are quite high poly, so it's colliding with the multiple polygons there. All right. Well, these will end up being turned into one whole panel anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I do just want to fix what's going on with the back. Is it the fit or is it this? I'm going to remove a little bit of the volume here, and I'm going to figure out how much I want to remove by using the tack tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack some of that material because it's causing it to be a little too thick. So let's see. So that means I also need to remove some of this going up and down. So hold D. I will do this, and then I'm going to have to just change my curve points again. I should check the rise of this, because that's changing the rise. Yeah. I will delete my tack. Yeah, because I put most of the rise in the front by accident. Oh, that's how my life goes. Let's see, that is 742, okay. 742, 750, let's just lower that. $742, $775. Where's this point? Let's see. Where's that point? Okay, I can go ahead and lower this line just a little bit more. Not that way. There we go. And that's fine. That'll fix this in a minute. All right. I'm just cleaning this up just a little bit for curve. Because this is going to end up becoming a gusset anyway. All right. I do need to narrow down the sleeves again. Using the transform tool, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Because with this wetsuit, I do want the front to be the zip down, because that'll be easier for me to put on the swimsuit top afterwards. So this is interesting gusset, or this is an interesting dart placement. So what Rosemary did say earlier, you can see here, this is actually where the dart is incorporated into the pattern. Much like princess seams. We actually have both darts here. One's been manipulated into the center front, and then one has been manipulated into the armhole. So now let's actually go ahead and do the fun part. Oh, let me give her let's do the collar really fast. What's the length? What's the measurement here? 161.9, and that's on the half. Height is probably 50. And I'll just, oops, unfold that with symmetric editing. That is only available in Marvelous Designer 10 and up. So I'm going from, this will probably be the front, center front here. So it's not going to be closed. So I'm going to do center front to the back. So starting from center front, holding shift, and then show me, rotating to the back. There we go, to the back. It is actually too wide. I know this for certain, so I'm just going to shrink this a little bit. And then I'm going to right click, superimpose side, simulate, we go. And then this will be the zip up portion of this collar. It's a little low in the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and just raise it up. Oh yeah, there's some sewing problems there too. I'm gonna check my neck shape. So to do this really quickly, I'm going to right click my front pattern piece. I'm going to go to rotate parallel to, oh come on, rotate parallel to this line, and I'm gonna make the sleeve line parallel to it, snapping it. So now I can check my armhole. I can also see it's not the same measurement. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm going to clean up my neckline as well. Best I can. There we go. And now I can just rotate this back. Rotate y-axis and that center line. And there we go, that cleans that up a little bit. This is tight, but that is okay. We're gonna bring this to 15 particle distance. Because these wetsuits are always very, very tight on the neck. I don't like wearing them. Alright, so now that we have our base, you can also do this by drawing on the avatar in the same way I'm going to start drawing the design lines. So I'm just going to be using a reference image. I don't know if I like that brand. Let's see. So I do kind of like this one, so I'm going to go with this one. This design here. So all of these are going to become the design lines, but I will be changing this to just have the zipper in the front. Oftentimes the zipper is going to be in the back with a long pull tab, but in this case I will just have it in the front. Moving that to the side so I can see it over here, and then I can also see the chats. So turning simulation off, I'm going to go ahead and use the draw on 3D pattern tool or the line tool. You also have the line avatar tool. You can do this similar tool, exact same method, to just make it from scratch if you want, but you will have to accommodate for the actual topology of your avatar if you do it the way that I'm showing you how to do it, but I'm just drawing on the cloth. So this has pretty simple design. Oop. Yeah, thanks. If I could stop hitting. I keep hitting the Windows key by accident. Let's see. And I can change this in a minute. I'm just drawing out the rough shape. A lot of this design here. Don't know what it looks like on the back, but you know what? That's fine. Just going to stop it at the seam. I'm only working on a half because I will convert it to an internal line, which will make it a lot easier. And then going from about here. So a couple of things with the 3D line pattern tool. If I hold shift, it will do straight lines going up and down. Does not do the diagonal like it does in the 2D window. And then same rules with drawing and creating your own polygon. Holding control will make curve points. And then I can still use backspace to step back. And then when I do want to finish, in this case, you do just want to double click on your line. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my line following my seam line. Right? I do want to fix this actually at the bottom before I do anything else. That did delete that line though. but I will accept that into my life. Oh. My seam is wrapping around my leg in a way I don't like. I know I can fix it by just how I'm going to be drafting my pattern, but it's also going to bother me. Stop making the Windows key happen. No one wants it. It's true. I should just make that a different hotkey, actually. All right, I'm going to draw that line again. Because I did manipulate my pattern, I got rid of that line. I swear I keep hitting that key. Oh, that's funny, actually. I can keep the seam. I didn't mean to do that, but okay. For the color blocking. And I can edit this line. Here's an example of me doing that. I'm going to go to the Edit Line tool. And I can move my little segment points. Add a curve point wherever I want. To clean up this work. Actually, I do want to make this a little bit lower, but that's okay. Using the edit key, now I'm just playing around with the design here. Because sometimes that's what you just need to do. It'll be out this way, and then I'll have my zipper down the center because that is the design I have chosen for the swimsuit top. Creativity happens. Now just be creative. Make your design lines. This also works for your superhero suits. You can use a leotard to easily make a superhero suit, or just draw it on the avatar. But do be aware and do account for the apex locations on your avatar, and accommodate. This includes men's suits. And accommodate the dart lines that are going to be in there somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit different because this one's just plain. I'm going to go ahead and draw a piece that goes like this. Then I can remove this seam entirely. And I'm going to make it harder on myself and give myself an underarm gusset, I think. Why? Just for fun. I mean, we'll make this hard. Which then is going to make do I want to do that? Do I want to do an underarm gusset? Because I can just get away with this top piece. Because I like the color blocking on this. Because I'll do color blocking. I'll probably do the center front being dark, 1 color, 2 color, and probably 3 different colors total. I'll do an opposing spiral here. And that's going to need cleanup. Goodness gracious me. That looks really funny. I'm just going to put a little patch here. I'm just going to do like a little laminate knee thing here. Like, let's just say this is for not wakeboarding, but wake surfing. And so you need some sort of, or surfing even. You can get away with some texture there. And that would be useful. And then that is needing so much cleanup. That's the funniest thing. I forget that that's what it does. This is a good example of not being aware of how you're drawing. And also sometimes this will just happen with the topology of your pattern. So this definitely needs cleanup, but that's fine. Let's see. Let's turn these into internal lines and see how that looks. Convert to internal shape. Oh my goodness. It's just one circle. Okay. Awesome. We're going to completely ignore that now. And then enter to finish. Delete that. That's so funny. And convert to internal shape. You can just leave them there if you want, but you don't have to. Convert to internal shape. You can choose to trace, which does leave it as is, but I prefer to convert them to internal shapes because then I can clean up my work afterwards. Convert to internal shape. So this also applies it to both front and back pattern pieces, so I can see how this looks. I also lost that line, so let's see. I can just go ahead and finish that. Convert to internal shape. And then I can cut these and merge them together. Hello. This will just end up being a plastic applique, but I'm still gonna keep it. Convert to internal shape. Super simple, but let's go ahead and find an example I do want to do. I guess I can do it that way. I'll just I'll mirror this similarly to the back. But I will make it a little bit different. I'll make these line up. There we go. Woo! I'll have this also be the color, I think. And I'll just have it do this. Come here. Now, let me see. We'll just do that for fun. Okay. Super simple. My zipper is going to be in the front anyway. I'm going to have it stop at the waist. Or probably, yeah, probably just at the waist. She's never going to take this off. She's not a real person. This is her existence now. Right click and convert to internal shape. There we go. Normally you would also put a zipper here more often, but again, just for the sake of this, I'm doing this up here. I do not like how this is so high, so let's go and make some changes. I do want to lower this, and see how that looks. This needs to go a little bit higher. So does this. So right now I'm just playing around with the shape. I wanted to lower it a little bit because it was a little high on her. Because I'm probably going to end the zipper right here at this line to make it nice and neat. So we'll do that. And I'm just cleaning this up. And as always, make sure that your lines are connected to the end. So extend, trim, and add point to exterior line, or to the segment line. Make sure to check all your lines, or you can always just select all of them and then just do it and hope it works. Just make sure they don't stop inside. Okay, that looks fine. Oh, I need to fix this line. Oop, not delete it. Let's see. I do like that shape that it creates. That's a fun shape. All right, let's go ahead and start cutting out these pattern pieces. Cut and sew. Cut and sew. Cut and sew. And then I'm going to go ahead and start merging as well. Merge. This I'm going to lose a little bit here, so I'm going to have to be careful of this. All right, fine. I need to get rid of this segment point. Merge, and then I'm going to delete this. Now this is where it's going to start changing the fit, because this does have the dart inside of here, so it should be fine if I leave it. But because there are pieces that have curves and some that do not, we're going to start seeing a little bit of a fit change if we're not careful. And right click merge, there we go. I've got a little bit of a pucker here just because it's grown, not a pucker, but a little excess of material. There we go. So I can still actually utilize the pattern that I had in the beginning, and I still have that dart, I just moved it here. Okay, gonna clean up my workspace for a second. Add background image, reset. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I have my collar, I have my upper pattern, I have my center pattern. I'm going to rotate this so that the center front is the y-axis. And all that same thing is happening to the other side. So this is now my side pattern. There we go. And cut and sew. There's my hip. Move that. So as you can see what I did first, for those of you who are new here potentially on the stream, what I did first was I fit the whole body to the garment suit and to the whole garment to the body, and now I'm making all of my design lines. Convert to curve point, makes life easier. accidentally makes many curve points. You know, I'm okay with that point though. Let's see. All right. Let's see. We'll do the back next. Or probably sleeves. Right click again, just cut and sew everything, but then just move it a little bit so you know what's where. Come here. Let me grab you. Thank you. Okay, those are out of my way. I'm going to grab this other front piece and move it into my workspace. I'm using Ponte jersey for this. Yeah, I have been I have a sewing and fashion history of been sewing costumes for 17 plus years. I'm just using Ponte jersey because I like that it's a heavier knit for this, as well as it has the similar texture to what is laminated on top of the actual neoprene in real life. It's the closest that we're probably going to get just with our base fabrics that we have. At the end of this, I'm going to be applying a thicker texture to this, or I'll be increasing the rendering thickness to probably just like 3 millimeters, just because I'll use probably a 3 millimeter foam for this one. Like, let's just say this is a dry suit instead of a wetsuit. But that's the only reason I'm using this texture, is because it's very similar to what is laminated on top of the actual rubber. In fact, I actually have a super suit in my closet with it. I learned the hard way. Never make a real super suit with wetsuit material. Yeah, I wouldn't use terry because terry cloth is a towel-like material. We'll talk about this for a second, because that's a good question. Let's see. Ponte has a thicker drape. Piqué jersey, it's got that different texture because of it's a piqué. I'm seeing your posts. I'm seeing your posts on Twitch first. Ah, yeah, so I'll cover it for a second. You can see here that we don't have a nylon. Normally, like, you can get away with these being like nylon or a what's the other one? My personal favorite for super suits is this is clear. My household disagrees. My favorite one is milliskin mats for super suits. This is probably going to be the closest to the laminate that is used on top of neoprene. If I can find one, because you can use piqué. I just don't like the texture of piqué. It does make it look a little more wicking sometimes. For scuba, for real scuba. Trying to find it, but generally it's gonna be a knit that has a similar texture. See, this is a twill weave here on top of the neoprene, or on top of the rubber. If this is actual, yes, this still isn't real. This still isn't actually real neoprene. I'm just trying to find one with a better. Here we go. It's close. It's not the same, but you'll see generally a box weave on top or a twill weave. That's a knit fiber. Trying to find it. Sometimes you can find those there. Let's see. I'm just trying to find a close-up of the weave, because often it's like, that's a terrible photo. Sometimes you'll also see the terry on top, but you'll see a knit on the other side. That's the only reason that I picked the Ponte, is because it's a really stable knit. Yeah, so normally, neoprene, actual real scuba suits have a layer of rubber. That's why you can't actually sew them, or if you do sew them, there's wetsuits and dry suits. For a wetsuit, you can sew it, but generally you use neoprene adhesive when you make these. I'm cheating, and I'm not doing that. I'm sewing it in Marvelous Designer because everything can just be glued if I say it's glued. So with real wetsuits and real dry suits, you have a layer of rubber, and the thicker the rubber, the more insulating it is, but also the more difficult it is to put on and off. So with real rubber, it's going to be a thicker, specifically in millimeter. Oh, you know what? I can probably no, they don't show it. There's a place called like Seattle Fabrics that sells a lot of neoprene that you can like actually buy if you're in Seattle to take a look at. But you can also get them from spandex places. So neoprene is going to have a layer. So non-fashion neoprene is going to have a layer of rubber, and the thickness will change depending on what you want, and then it'll have on both sides the layer that's going to touch the skin, which is going to be the layer of fabric. This one is an example of what looks like a sort of terry material, and then we have the knit on the other side. You'll also see in real life, you'll see fashion spacer spandex or neoprene, and it doesn't have the rubber in it. It just has a spacer mesh in between to create the illusion of that thickness, but it doesn't have the insulating properties that neoprene actually has, and you can actually sew those things in real life if you were to sew them. Just trying to find photos. But most of the time it's topped with a knit of a sort. Yeah, having actual rubber on your skin is not going to work very well. But sometimes you'll see textures on it. You'll see that for image. If you can texturize a knit, you can texturize neoprene. But that's also why they're much more expensive, is because it does have that layer of rubber. And the thicker the rubber, the more expensive it's going to be. Which is why at the end of this, I'm going to make the neoprene garment that we're making. Like 3mm thickness, simulation thickness, because it's going to need it there. So that's why I chose a knit. Really, you can choose any kind of knit. I just prefer the Ponte knit because it is more stable of a knit. Even in real life, if you cut Ponte, wash it a million times, it's not going to curl or unravel. Because some knits have a favored side and some don't based on how they're woven. Ponte is the most stable of those knits that are manufactured. It's one of my favorite things to sew with in real life as well. So that's why I've chosen the Ponte. It will also help get rid of some of these wrinkles. Where'd my internal line go? Oh, here it is. So that's why I've chosen the material I've chosen, just because at the end, I'm going to make it the thickness of neoprene, and it will also help simulate it similarly to neoprene. And that was your fabric lesson of the day. So let's go ahead and do this. Rosemary. So I'm just reading the comments. Rosemary says, experiment using a loose drapey garment and apply different fabrics. Yeah, you can play with that as well, Daniel. You can just apply the different materials, but if you wanted to play around with, I was gonna say, if you want, there's a good textbook, but that's like not $400, like $100 for like materials, and it gives you all the definitions of what they're used for, that you can buy on Amazon, that I had for my school. I like it, but you have to build the textbook. Oh, how does that look? I kind of like that, actually. Failed to cut some patterns. Why is that? Am I not touching edges? Add point to pattern outline. Whoops. Extend and trim. Okay. Yeah. You can also just look it up if you look up the same product that you're making and check the material properties. You'll see that, let's see. If you're trying to research, this is a good example for new users as well. If you don't know what something's made of, you can look at the view details. Let's just say I'm looking at a wetsuit here. Few details. I know it's made with neoprene. We're going to see what it's made with. So, crypto knee pads, ultra flex composite, flat lock stitching. So it's most likely a marrow stitch on this guy. It's clearly a wetsuit, so allowing water in is fine. Dry suits, you would never. This is most likely stitched with a marrow machine. Let's see. It's not showing us. Flat lock is how the stitching looks. I can show on my thing here. Sometimes they'll say it. Windproof smooth skin. So windproof smooth skin is most likely the product that they're using for the fabric. So let's see. So let's just see, I didn't know if it was neoprene or like fabric. Let's just type in fabric. There we go. So it's most likely going to be the otter skin 70 denier. Available from Fabric Wholesale. So it's a wind resistant neoprene in this case. Obviously it's going to be wind resistant most of the time. So this one probably has a, oh, I love when they do this. This most likely has a ripstop layer on it if it's going to be wind resistant, because it's got this ripstop here, which is that weave. Neoprene is also rubber. If something's rubber, they're most likely going to be wind resistant because there's no holes in the rubber unless you make a hole and puncture it yourself. Actually, this is a great example. Polyester, neoprene, polyester. And then neoprene is just rubber. But if you were to do, like, let's just say a ball gown, or let's just say a coat. I saw you were doing a trench coat the other day, so let's just do a trench coat. We'll cover this for a second because this is a good topic. Trench coat. Let's just say I want to do a trench coat, but I don't know what it's made of. I can just find a trench coat as my example. Hope it loads. Oh, we're going to the Coach website, I guess. So this fancy trench coat was made with cotton and polyester. Okay, so I know it's a cotton polyester now. I wish I could see a little bit closer. This is a very terrible photo for a very expensive jacket. So I know it's a cotton polyester, so I know it's going to be stretchy. Just a little bit. Yeah, it's most likely going to be a gabardine. So a gabardine is a cotton or a polyester. It's 100% polyester. Gabardine is really just a polyester that's got a twill weave. And gabardine frays really badly if you get polyester gabardine. So it's a twill weave. The only reason I know it's stretchy, so I forget that there's a lag. The only reason I know it's stretchy is because it's got polyester. So if something's cotton polyester, it can be a little stretchy. Most clothes nowadays have some sort of stretch in them. Sometimes you'll see nylon, but a lot of the times with some brands, they won't share all of it. So oftentimes, if it's a tighter fitting garment or if it's got a little bit of give, it's going to have a little bit of nylon that they're not telling you about. Nylon spandex. That is going to account for a little bit of stretch. So you can get away with some stretch, but most of the time when you're patterning it, you don't have to account for stretch if it's not going to be stretchy. So they're telling us it's cotton polyester. Oftentimes it's cotton polyester nylon. And the polyester helps with the water resistance for a coat, obviously. So most likely you can get away with a gabardine, or you can get away with a twill because that's the weave type. So if I go to twill, then I can go to cotton twill, because if I'm working in Marvelous Designer, it's going to be a heavy twill or a cotton twill. And then I can just tell myself that it's polyester. Or I can just tell everyone, I'm making this might be cotton. It's polyester now. Just add a little bit more sheen to it. So that's also how you can look up, like, if you don't know the material that you're making, because another example, again, we don't have nylon spandex in here just because we do have other knits. So that's why I'm using the Ponte knit. If I want a thinner one, I can use the jersey knit. I'll be making a swimsuit top. Next, I'll do another knit because I know swimsuits are made of a knit material. most likely a knit that's going to have the knit texture, which is what I'm wanting, is just the base texture and then the stretch for Marvelous Designer, because I can always change the texture if I'm using other materials. So cut and sew. But if you don't know what it is, you can always just look up the products or something similar to it. Because here I'm going to swap things around. I'm probably going to use another knit texture and then change my settings to up the Ponte. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now because I want to have a heathered knit. I'm just going to type in knit. We have a couple of different knits, as you can see. So this is our box weave knit that we have here. So I do want a different knit type. Let's grab, you said piqué, I'll grab the piqué. I'm only getting it for the texture right now because I'm going to go to my presets and I'm just going to choose the Ponte, but I just wanted the texture. I could do it the other way too. The only reason that right now it doesn't matter and I want the Ponte settings is because I'm pretending and I'm reminding myself this is going to be rubber. So we don't have a rubber preset. I'm just going to cheat it by applying the same setting to everything and then making it thick. I don't need it to keep her warm. She's not real. So I'm going to go ahead and start my textures here. I'm just going to drag and drop that into the center panel. Because see, now it's a different texture. So we'll just do that for this guy. I'm going to change my colors. I'm going to duplicate this. Make it, not that. Texture, desaturation. I do want this one to be a gray or a dark gray so we can get our colors here. Because this will be center front. Oh, I'm going to do it this way. Because if I'm going to have shiny on here, I'd rather have that. And then piqué jersey, we'll make this a light gray. Texture, desaturation, color. That way I can actually see my texture drop. There we go. So I get that color. Oh, I'm probably going to merge these two pattern pieces. Okay, let's make these colored for a second. Let's see how much I'm going to lose if I do this. I might lose a lot. Let's see what happens. Oh, hey, that looks great. Surprised that worked out quite well. I will place this here. Oh, hey, Eric, you're here. We have Eric. Eric, do you want to go on the audio or do you want to just call it? I'll have to put my headset on if we do. Oops, I don't want that. Okay. So as I said before, oftentimes Eric is in the chat with me. He is in the chat now on the Restream, as the Restream account. I'm going to make this one. We'll make this a corally color, and I'll reduce the texture. There we go. Why? Because I like pink. It's so nice. So Eric, you missed it. We derailed it a little bit. We talked a little on where to find fabrics and how to decide what fabrics to choose. I'm going to probably merge these pattern pieces. So let's do that next. be right click, merge. Yay, good. That way I get that seam out of my way. I do want to rotate this to the correct angle so I know what's where. All right, cool. There we go. And also the thing with neoprene is that you don't have to account for the grain, unless for texture, but it does only stretch in kind of one direction, not really. It doesn't really stretch much in general. It really just compresses, but that's, you know, how it works. I don't want it. Maybe I can. Maybe I will merge the underarm. Would I do this in production? No, I wouldn't. So I'm not going to merge that. That would be not, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. And then we'll do the dark. Does the grain change when I rotate my pieces? Let me do this. If I rotate them, I believe with this tool, it does not, but when you make them in the very beginning, that's going to determine the direction of your grain. So if I made this sleeve, instead of up and down, if I made it left to right, that will change the grain of my material. So when your avatar is standing, you want to match the grain to that avatar. So if my pattern is imported horizontally, I do want to rotate it to be vertical so that my grain is vertical. You can always change it using the edit texture tool, and I can just rotate my grain this way. If I wanted right now, I don't have to, because that's how I made it. I think actually a good example is going to be these guys. So my grain was imported at the wrong direction when I first did this. This piece was not up and down, so I can adjust this if I want. Yeah, it's the edit texture tool or the T hotkey. With this piece, I do want it going up and down towards center front, just because of how I patterned it. So these are all still working really well. And center back is also going to be okay, I think. I can change center back a little bit to make it parallel. And this is individually though, so just be aware of that. Because it will still stretch on the bias just a little bit no matter what, especially if you have force applied like we do here. Alright, and so there's the base of our wetsuit. I need to add the zipper, but then I also need to do our patches. So let's do our patches because we're almost done. Right click, clone as pattern. Clone as pattern. I am just going to free sew this, making sure I sew in the correct direction. We'll make them pink knee patches. Oh, I love pink. Maybe, we'll see. I might be getting ahead of myself. Superimpose over. I like the pink. These specific knee patches, though, I'm going to clone this Ponte jersey. I'm going to delete the texture in the normal map because this is going to become a laminate material. Fabric, plastic, and drag and drop. There we go. I'm just pretending that it's a laminate. We'll make this a darker color as well. Still pink, but, you know, still fun. I've chosen pink again, Eric. So let's go ahead and apply the zipper. If I recall, zippers are going to be 5mm. Well, I can change it. I'm going to delete the sewing for the center front. Oh my. There we go, and we have our Bond villain. We're done. I'm going to apply the zipper. It is a James Bond girl, like right away. I was like, oh, there we go. I do need to account for the zipper width, though. So populate the zipper for me. How wide are you? 5mm. Okay, so I'm going to change the length of this now. I might have just done that, but the base zipper is 5mm. I'm going to go ahead and select my piece. Offset is internal line 2.5mm. Number of offsets 1. Cut. The reason I'm doing this is because of my zipper. Offset 2.5. Cuts. This will make it so it lays perfectly. You can make your zipper smaller, but I'm just doing it this way. So now I have accounted for the thickness of the zipper. Baywatch, yeah, I can see that. So now my zipper is the same length. I probably want to hide this. Why is this doing this? Oh, is it 5 on each side? Has to be. Fine, we'll do it one more time. No, you know what? We're not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to make it 2.5. Very tiny zip zap. It's so small. There, it's perfect. I'll make my zipper work. Why is this backwards? Excuse me. Thank you. Alright, so let's change the zipper color. Eye drop, we'll make it that. Dark color, zipper tape color, same thing. So here's our wetsuit. I've changed the color of everything. Normally you would put a little cover over this for a rash guard, but I'm not gonna do that. So we're gonna make her swimsuit top now because we have a half an hour left. So I'm gonna select my zipper while it's still on her. Let me grab, so it's gonna be fasten zipper off. And select mesh box. I am just going to go ahead and take all of this off while also not simulating yet. Freezing the lower half. I want to do it this way. Just temporarily freeze. You know, this could actually go really wrong if I don't do this right. Hold on. We're just gonna do it the normal way. Let me put her arms at her sides first. Avatar, Female pose. We're gonna do it the normal way. I'm just gonna actually pull it off of her. It's gonna cause a little bit of issues on the underarms, but that's fine. We're all at 20 particle distance anyway. Excuse me, sleeve. Come here. I know we worked really hard to make it look really nice, but we're not doing that anymore. Yay! Perfect! And I didn't break it. Alright, cool. Now let's put our arms back to there. And we shall make her swimwear top. Cool. I'm going to freeze that so I don't have to worry about calculating that into my simulation. And I'm just going to do a basic swimwear top, so I'm going to do it with the Draw On Avatar tool. So I'm just going to do a basic bralette top for her. With a little cutout, because we want to be cute. And this is, I'm holding shift to do this. Did I do this under? Okay, no, I need to go down. So we'll give her a good band. A good bra band here. Ah, I made it too complex. Fine. We'll do it the easy way. Do that again. Okay, I'll do it this way. Because of how I'm doing it in a very weird way. So this is actually going to be the bra shape and outline. So I'm using the Edit Draw On Avatar tool. I'm going to add another segment point. Add point. Now I can make some changes. Add a curve point. Just so we can accommodate for that. I'm going to add a... Now I can start adding my internal lines. So I'm going to add a line for under her bust. Lines cannot cross. Fine, I'll just do that differently later. Okay, whatever. It worked. And I do want to change where this is hitting, so I'm just going to pull that over a little bit more. So I'm making her a swimsuit with a little cutout here. And then I can make her straps. Let's make a cute look. Oh, we'll do... How do I want to do the strap? I'll just draw it on her. Where are we looking? We'll make her bra strap end here, and I'll make it a little bit different. Okay. So right now I'm just making the strap shape. So I know I'm probably not actually going to put anything there, because the more important part is already done. So I'm going to unfold the 3 body pieces, or flatten them. I'm going to move my entire torso out of the way. And I want my bra strap pieces. Come here. I did accommodate for the curve of the body, but it's still clearly made a bit of a problem, so I'm just going to steal the length. 335. Width is 335. Height is going to be 30 millimeters. So what is this one's distance from the center front? I'm going to free sew this, just eyeballing. And then this is going to go right after it. So I'm just making her band here because it should be flat. Before I do anything else, I am going to pin to avatar or tack to avatar just so it doesn't move when I do this. Control D to make a symmetrically linked mirrored copy. Oops, don't do that. Take away my tack. And now I sew them at center front together. And I'm going to use the arrangement points to place her band. Turn that off. Turn the avatar on, turn that off. And then sew center backs together. And we'll see how this looks. Okay, cool, we're almost there. I do need to make this smaller, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to make the line smaller in between them. There we go. It's looking better. Even at 20 particle distance. Let's make her bra strap now. Normally there's a tube sewn into the center, so I'm just gonna do I'm going to make this clear and I'm going to accommodate the shape of this strap. It's going to be thin, so I'm going to have to fix this. And right click, unfold with symmetrical editing. I'm going to remove the symmetrical editing. And I'm going to start making that shape. I'm not going to measure it because I don't want to. So I know that these are sewn together, so if I just line them up, line this point over it, oops, and if I match this, then it'll match up just enough. And I'll delete that center point, select these two segment lines, right click, align and align right so that this moves that one, and do the same to this one, align left, and now I have the bra strap that will sew directly into this. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to move these first because I put them too close. Free sewing. So now I know that this bra strap is going to fit here without warping my pattern. There we go. Come here. No. I'm holding on to you. So we can see it's sewing in here. Normally, real life, you don't really have to account for that. But, you know, this isn't real life. So this definitely needs to be longer. So I'm just going to do a simple bra strap just for the sake of time. So I'm just grabbing the segment line to lengthen it. I'm grabbing it in the window here. And I'm going to eyeball where to sew it. I don't really need to flip that around. I'm just going to sew it in the 3D window using the free sewing tool. Just remembering the direction I'm going. And then double click to finish. Simulate and see how that works. It's pulling it up much nicer. I'm going to make this 10 particle distance. Just to make this a little bit easier. Control D with that piece selected so it's on the other side. Right click, superimpose side. And adjust her straps. This one's twisted. I'm just going to superimpose side again. And then I'm going to delete that pin. And I don't need these these lines on my avatar anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete them. I do want to fix how this fits her in the back, so I'm just going to make a single little extra strap. How wide are you? Oh yeah, they're only 1/2 inch wide. Okay. Oops. Don't want to do that. Don't double click it. Okay. Oh, I'm going to do it this way. They're symmetrically linked, so if I just do the 1/2 and right click, unfold with symmetric editing, and check my sewing, it should apply itself to the back. So superimpose side, and have that help pull this in, just for a little bit more of a realistic look. Make this 10, check them all. Cool. Oh, now that I've made the bra, or the swim top, let's select all of this. Make this 10 particle distance. Now I can choose. So this kind of matches. Let's see how this all looks. Come on. I mean, that's kind of cute. Let's make a copy of the... Let's see. Let me check the fabrics here. Since we have some time, I'm going to go to the list. So we could do a jersey piqué. Okay, so here's 2 options. We have 20 minutes. I can make a beach ball from scratch, or we can just play around and look at fabrics. I will let the chat decide this, because I do have a beach ball that I will import. I've already made it, but otherwise I'm going to keep looking at these fabrics. Because I want to find one that's close, because this is actually really close to neoprene, or to the spandex color. Make a copy. I'm going to change not the fabric to matte. It's going to be fabric silk satin. Because this is closer to spandex anyway. Tough choice, so it's up to you guys. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking about fabrics here. Though I'm going to be cheating. I'll show you the fabric and we'll talk a little bit about fabric. So for this swimsuit top, we want it to be neoprene swimsuit. We want it to be spandex. Fabric it is. I will be bringing in the beach ball though. I have made a beach ball. I did not make a surfboard. Someone else can make the surfboard and then they can use this for their project later. So we don't have nylon spandex, but it is still technically a knit and it's just a shiny knit. So I can choose this. Ooh, you know what? We're going to do colors. We're going to do multiple colors. We're going to copy this twice. We're going to make this one this. I'm going to drag and drop. Because you can see here that I'm just using the knit preset. So spandex knit is just a very simple knit. I'm going to just choose caps lock. Place that I personally buy spandex from. My company does not endorse this place. It is just a resource. Give me the spandex. Thank you. So you can see here, because we were talking about spandex. Accessories make... I'm going to bring them in though. So if you see here, it is still technically that same woven, that same knit texture, but this is just very shiny. So looking at fabric, because I know swimwear is made of nylon spandex, I can just kind of go to the catalog. Let's go to new fabrics. I'm not going to grab the textures from here, but it's just an example. This one is spandex abstract print, and it's basically got that same knit texture. So it's just going to be a knit. So it's a very thin knit. Or a very finely woven knit. So from afar, it's not looking like how I really want it to. So I can just change the scale that this is at as well. By going up to this menu up here, I can rotate the direction of the grain. Come here. Of how the print looks without adjusting the grain. I can also change the scale and make it a much finer knit. So you can see here it's much smaller than the one on the left. Which I can then do the same thing. Oop, I don't want to make it too small. Otherwise you can't see your texture. But I can make it even smaller. This applies to anything that you bring in. But I know that this is a spandex, so I'm just going to choose, spandex. I do want to merge my center front piece, so I don't have that seam anymore. Rotating the texture does not affect the grain, so watch what happens using the Edit Texture tool or the T hotkey. So the grain hasn't moved, but if I rotate my texture, that's fine. So you can, if you rotate your grain, you will rotate your texture. But you have the option up in this right corner here to rotate your grain without rotating your texture. So this is breaking the rules of fabric. So this is the Marvelous Designer way. You don't have to follow the real rules of like manufacturing. You can do it however you like by rotating your texture here. You can kind of see me doing it. But if you rotate your grain, you will rotate your texture. And as always, remember, the bias is going to be the stretchiest direction, no matter your fabric. Yeah, so if you want to rotate only texture, you can do it up here. Because I've made it so small you can't see me rotating it, so I'm going to zoom in. So you can see here I'm rotating my texture. And I'm just going to put it back where I started it. I can also change the scale. So so diagonally on this tool, it's going to be the scale. Basically think of it like you've locked your aspect ratio. So if I choose the one for the grain, it's going to affect the scale and the aspect ratio of just the grain. And then same thing for the weft and the warp. So that's what you can do with this texture, or with this tool here, the texture tool. And the little orange bar will let you know where you started, or where the grain is. It will actually let you know where the grain actually is. I always just keep it with the grain. That's just because of my personal preference. So yeah, so we have our little color blocked swimsuit that perfectly matches our wetsuit. Yeah, so you can do that, though you need to remember where your grain is. So luckily it'll tell you. And obviously there too. Let me make sure I've applied it to all of them. Bop, bop, beep, bop. Okay, there. So that is for our textures. I'm going to leave this seam here because it technically would be stitched there for the swimsuit. It's pulling a little bit on the top, but I really don't care about the fit for that. So that should be fine. So actually the last thing that we need to do for the wetsuit, which I have not done yet, is increase its rendering thickness, because it's technically, in my mind, I want it to be looking like a real wetsuit, so I'm going to make it 3 millimeters thick. And that will change how it looks. You saw that, right? I'm going to do it again. Bring that back down to 0. And I'm going to increase the rendering thickness to 3. For all of these pattern pieces. So we have curve side geometry turned on. I can turn it off. I'll turn it off for this one. So you can see in this case, the zipper is coming out of the center of this piece. Let me simulate for a second. And it's also going to be a little thicker. So this is now 3 millimeters thick. But I do like having curve side geometry on sometimes. Just because it can look nicer. And then, yeah, Jamil, you can, just like what Rosemary just said, she beat me to it. I sort of did that already by going to the Ponte or the Piquet. The Piquet is not the same as the Ponte. It has a different stretch values. So I went down to the physical property editor down here, and I chose a preset in this case. I chose the Knit Ponte jersey, but I kept all the textures that it had. But if you want to change things even further, you can go down to your details and change every aspect of the physical property. You can do that here. If you want to learn more about the physical properties, you can do so by going to our the manual on our website. As well as I think we have a link on our Discord channel. But before we forget, I do want to add my beach ball. Desktop. Work. Made a beach ball. I made a beach ball. So I'm going to bring it in. Add. Yeah, it really does feel like a wetsuit. I'm going to bring this in. Because you can see here, it's not as... I can even make this... shiny as well. For example, if I wanted to have this be shinier, I could go to the actual fabric presets. This is fabric matte. I could make it fabric shiny. Because I made this even shinier, I can make this shiny. Because there's some mattes that are there, and then there are some that are shiny. So we can go to matte shiny. This one is, oh wait, no, we'll go with this one. On the wetsuit. They're all still fabric matte. Let's do fabric plastic, just so you can see the shininess. Yeah, it does visually give you the thicker texture. It makes the wrinkles a lot less severe. Things like that. A lot of this is also still 20 particle distance as well, which is an interesting thing to consider. Let's just make this 10. I need to lock the beach ball before it goes anywhere. Got my beach ball. Make this all 10 particle distance. There we go. And it's going to drape a little bit better. Just because it's hanging off of her, that's all I care. That's the only reason I care about it. Oh, I do want to remove the thickness from the knees, so I'm going to make that 0. Yeah. What Rosemary said, do be careful. Some things don't export as accurately as you want. But that's in the settings options. For export, like, make sure to export it as a thick textured surface. I'm going to unfreeze the beach ball. And actually this beach ball is made of nylon mat, for example. I did want to pin it to her. I could pin it to her. Oh, that'll be so cute. Okay, hold on. I didn't think about that. Pin to avatar. Bop. Bop. Can you tell it's inflated? Come here. And then we'll do... I can do pins. I could also do the other one. Maybe I'll move that pin just a little lower. Hold the beach ball. Close enough. Where's purple? Turn off my avatar for a second. There! She's squishing it. Very much squishing the beach ball. That's a proper summer look right there. There we go. She got her beach ball. Maybe I'll move her elbow for a second. Just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. She's holding her beach ball. Let's simulate it. Come on. Multicolored beach ball, but there we go. And this one's made with entirely nylon mat, just because it would be plastic. So I've actually removed the textures. I know it's interesting. Why is it doing that? All right, whatever. So I've removed the texture from the nylon mat because I like the fabric attributes because it's the closest to plastic. And then I chose the texture of plastic. So it's going to be relatively shiny, but not super shiny. I could always choose a different different types. So I could do, you know, glass if I really wanted and have it be clear. But I don't need glass. So I just chose plastic. It's relatively shiny when I don't have the the special rendering turned on. But there we are. There is our summer look. We'll make her available in the correct order of the rest of the streams. But yeah, so I hope that answered some questions at least about kind of faking neoprene. Because once I made it thicker, it looks a lot better. It's funny how the plastic looks less shiny. Fabric shiny? Either way. There's our little wetsuit look. And let me start getting those links again for everybody before I forget. For our resource links. I think it's in our Discord for the... I think we've linked it somewhere in our Discord. I know, Rosemary, there's a few of other presets that you have shared in the past and other people have for a preset map. But I know there are some on our website. So there's a link to our Discord. For our website, you can go to the manual option and take a look at the manual for learning a little bit more about those fabric presets. For those of you who are on our Twitch channel, this video will disappear after the 14 days, but it'll stay up on YouTube. So there's a link to our YouTube channel. A lot of the stuff I've covered can be found in our tutorials, like how I used the Draw On Avatar tool. It is actually in our beginner tutorials for how to make patterns, so I'm linking the tutorials there. And then for support tickets and things like that, if you're actually having trouble getting into your account, here's just a link to the support. But yeah, so thank you all for joining us today, and we will make this available for you in the order of the other ones that are still needing to be made available. We will stream again, not next week, but the week following. So let us know if you want to see anything specific that you want streamed. We have some ideas ourselves. But if you have anything that you want to see for the stream specifically, you can contact us at community@marvelousdesigner. But don't email support tickets to that email. It's just for kind of like community fun things. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Robert, for the summer fun tutorial. I just titled it Summer Fun because I was like, it's a beach ball, it'll be fun. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you on the Discord. I'll see you on the Discord, Rosemary, and Daniel as well. And yeah, we'll see you guys around. Have a good rest of your day.